Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Doing good.
Morning,
Morning.
good morning.
Good morning.
Just a quick second to get set up. So today is my signature listing conversation.
Yeah. How are
Conversation.
you feeling?
You just mute everybody.
Okay. How is it wheezing?
Muto.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. So I want to know what's your largest listing that you've taken, if you want to put it in the chat, and let's just say over 3 million. How many people have taken a listing over 3 million? Anybody? So Tricia, over 2 million. Anybody else? Anybody else breaking that 2 million? So earlier this week, I had helped two of our associates on $10+ million listings. Appointments that they're going on 3.3 and 3.9. And the beautiful part about it was the system works the same as a $400,000 listing. And this strategy is not the listing appointment itself. This strategy is a supplement to the way that you go about your listing conversation. And has anybody online here adopted the 3 strategy approach to introducing listings to the market and the conversation? Anybody utilizing that? I know some of you are. Yeah, I muted you also if you want to unmute yourself if you've ever used it. Robert, have you ever used that?
Yes, I have.
Okay. What do you think is the most impactful about it? Is it the numbers? Is it the identity? Is it the options? What do you feel as a practitioner is the most powerful about it?
So my feeling stems from the idea that the most amount of activity you're going to get on a new listing is the first 2 weeks that the house is on the market. And my goal is always to get the most amount of people to come see the house during those first 2 weeks, um, which serves to get tremendous feedback for the seller as well as most probably offers. So I explained to them that, that you can put a very high price on the house, and you can sit and you can wait for someone to come along, you know, kind of like winning the lottery. Or you can, price it, I guess at a fair market value where you'll probably get some showings, but I'm not sure that you'll get um, offers. Or we could do a much more exciting method of pricing it slightly below market value. And what that'll do is that'll cause people to really take a look and go, wow, that sounds like a very reasonable, exciting price for a house like this. Let's go see it. And the sellers that I've dealt with, I've used this actually with all of the sellers that I've worked with since, we first started talking about this concept. And I would say that with the exception of one, everyone has gone with yeah, let's do it at slightly less than fair market value and let's get the people in here and let them fight amongst themselves.
I have a fundamental belief, which is the only way you can guarantee successful value in the sale of a property is to have competition.
Correct.
And if you have only one buyer, you're limited to that buyer's opinion, emotion, motivation, all of those factors. But we've all been in situations where, you're sitting on a property and usually this happens when we have a buyer, right? Oh, that property's been on the market for 3 weeks. We come in with a good offer and then they call you back and say, oh, we have 2 other offers. We need highest and best. And we're almost like thinking that seems like, a little bit of puffery or BS. And, a lot of times it's really not. And you determine value when you have 2 or 3 or more qualified, motivated individuals bidding for that particular home. If you get only one, you're limited. You could be leaving money on the table. That's a true fundamental belief that I have. And when you look at the numbers and you study it, there's virtually no exception to the rule where marketing time, if I'm this seller, hey, you know what, Mr. Garver, I'm not in any hurry to sell my house. I'll wait for the perfect buyer. That perfect buyer is going to discount the price because they know you've been on the market, right?
Correct.
So I'm trying to retrain our brain into the way that we introduce the concept of competition and, more is less, less is more. Okay. You ask more, you get less. You ask less, you get more. Okay. It's a paradigm shift. It's a paradox, but it's the reality.
If I
Okay.
could just add the last comment to that, um, was that I mentioned that there was one seller who didn't go along with that concept and insisted upon going out at that, um, lottery pricing. And, it was, I didn't want to do it, but I did it because they were friends of mine. Um, but the first thing that happened was I got calls from 3 other agents saying to me, Robert, what's the deal with the price on that house? I mean, your prices are always so spot on, and this one is just way out of line. Did your seller insist on that price? And I mean, that's a call I never want to get, so I really try to help and guide my sellers to where I think it's going to be most beneficial for them.
Right. So, I'm gonna pull this up here. Where's my analysis here? All right, so here is, as I share my screen with you, here is one of 3 analyses that I did for your peers. And this was a listing in Palm Beach Island, okay, in the $10 million range. I did the same exact concept. I looked at all the properties that have been on the market. I segmented them by days on market, properties that sold in 15 days or less in Palm Beach Island are selling for 93.21% of original ask price. Okay, with an average sale price, just to give you an idea what the average is here, of $9.9 million. Okay, homes that took 45 to 120 days were selling for 85.86% of original ask. It's at 7.5%. So that's $750,000 less. And then homes, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 homes that sold over 220 days on the market or 218 days plus, no, let's see, the days on market is 183 to 396. We're selling for 2/3 of the original ask price, or a full 33% discount in a $10 million marketplace. You know, if that's not valuable information, I really don't know what is. And I think sellers, absent this education, are led to believe it's like shopping for a car. I want to get 11 million for it. I ask 12 million. This suggests you want to get 11 million for it. You ask 10.8 million, right? And there's one that went for 104% of original ask. So numbers don't lie, and numbers also give options to clients, right? If a client's, you know, I feel it's a horrible experience when you start a business relationship with friction. You know, for those of you who went down to our T2 in Baltimore, the one of the speakers we had there was talking about eliminating friction in transactions. And he was using it in the context of listing properties, which he was a master at, and positioning them properly so that we don't give buyers an excuse to pass by our property. I know many of us were taught that if a seller is overpricing a house, all we're doing is we're selling the competition. By the agent takes them to Robert Garber's house and says, boy, this thing's so, look at this one, it's so overpriced. Then you show them the one that's priced right and they feel good about buying it. So you don't want to be the resource for helping sell other people's listings. And if you're given choices, if you're given like options, you know, here's the singular price that I recommend you list it for, or here are 3 prices and here are 3 strategies. Here's how these strategies perform. Which one would you like to utilize if we decide to work together? Who thinks that's a better, stronger approach that gives the consumer more options, as opposed to what we've been taught is here's the market value, right? And you know, you by default usually come up with 3 prices. Do you know what the 3 prices that traditional agents deal with? Anybody know? Okay, so
Auction, is it the auction price, the market price, and the
the lottery, that's the
lottery?
auction, market, and lottery. That's the strategy that we have.
The
But
appraisal.
let me just mute everybody and you can unmute yourself. I'm getting some background noise. So
The,
so good. If you were just talking, you can unmute yourself for a moment.
it's Mari with Boynton Beach. Hello, everyone.
How are you?
If they want good, if they want to put it, the exact amount, they just have to pay for an appraisal.
So I mean, I think we ought to be, you know, confident and able to communicate that we're able to determine what the appraised value would likely be if they paid somebody. So what I was driving at is most of the time, unbeknownst, there's 3 choices. And traditional agents come in, they say, hey, you know, I think your house is worth $650,000. And I don't know why this the view is off here. Let's see, speaker. So you come to the seller and you say, hey, I think your house is worth 650. Who wants to venture a guess what most sellers will say they think their house is worth?
Definitely higher than that, because somebody will come in and make an offer is what they say. That's what I hear
Right.
them say.
Right. And you know, always remember there's no ugly babies and homeowners can't be objective with their own house, right?
Correct.
It's pretty much a universal truth.
Right.
And I will tell you, it applies to real estate professionals as well. I've seen some very competent agents misprice their own home because they can't be objective. Has anybody ever seen that?
Yeah.
So there's three choices, and there's a lot of friction if we do it the traditional way, because I can come in there with the best information, Beth, to demonstrate your house is worth 650. You might just be a puffer and say, I think it's worth 750. And then the third price is, you might say, Beth, I got this unreasonable guy, Rob, down to 675 or 699, which is still 49,000 above where it should be, right? So by default, there's three options regardless. And who's in control of those options? The wheels have come off the bus at that point, right? And we're just treading water to get to even. I think it's a horrible way to start a business relationship, and I don't think it applies only to trailer homes or $15 million homes. It's a universal principle. Okay, the longer homes are on the market, the less leverage a seller has. Almost without exception, the lower price they're going to get. Smart sellers think that if I wait for the right buyer, I can get a higher price. Nod your head if you think that is it reasonable for a smart seller to think that? I think so. But the data says differently. Okay. And if I come there and I just say, well, trust me, this doesn't work, they're going to push back. If you give them options and then they make the choice that's right for them in their scenario, they don't fight their own decision. They don't fight their own words. Okay. And I originally designed the three, I named them and created this to get people to price it at market. But I would find that we have more people that price it at auction style than I ever imagined. And it's because the numbers dictate that that's where the benefit is. That's the sweet spot in the deal. All right. Is anybody who's been using auction, market, and lottery, anybody have the experience where more sellers are opting to go a little bit below market than at market or above? Anybody want to chime in, say yes, or in theory it works, but not for you? What's your experience?
I tried it a few times, but most of them want to go to their price. I present all the facts to them. I say, here's the facts of here's what's selling, and you can choose whatever price you want, but understand these are the facts. And if you tend to list it at your price, which is much higher.
So Ron, when you say your price, you've already alienated the process.
Well, I give them my price first. I said, I'm going to show you the facts. I'm going to give you
So
my price first.
So when you say my price and your price, and I'm just
Yeah.
I'm giving you feedback, you've already undermined the process, because you have to be unattached to the outcome. You have to say, Ron, if we decide to work together, I want to share with you three strategies and three ways to introduce your home to the market.
I've
You
tried
know,
that. Done that before.
right? Would you like to have options on how you could introduce your home? And then you introduce the process. Then you say, Ron, would it be valuable for you if I shared with you how some homes in your local market perform with these three strategies, right? And when you give them that information, and then you go kind of like this, hey, if we decide to work together, what strategy speaks to you? Okay, but I can hear you say my price, your price. And even if you don't say those words, Ron, you have that in your psyche, and you're saying it without saying it. So you have to be disassociated with whatever they choose and say, here's the three strategies, here's how they perform. If we decide to work together, how would you like to introduce it to the market? And I say it's only the fool that would say, I want to get 66% of my ask price in Palm Beach Island and give up millions of dollars because I was greedy. Okay. And when you run the numbers and you say 4 bedrooms, 3 baths on, 0.2 acres, and you look at the actual sales prices, even the sales prices for the similar product, forget about days on market and ask to sale, because you might say, like I do, and say, hey, if I price it 3 million higher and then I take a 4 million or a $2.5 million cut, I'm still ahead of the game. So I've eliminated the starting price, I said, we look at, you know, similar attributes and what are they selling for? And it always goes for less. And you can do this on your own so that you have the confidence to speak with the conviction that I have, because I totally believe that if you sell it with 2 or 3 offers early on, you're always going to get a better execution than if you have an extended marketing time and have to cut the price.
Yeah, you can also show them the days on the market and the arrows that go down on your MLS. And say, do you want to be a part of that, or do you want to be a part of a sale that's going to close in 30 days rather than 102 days or 160 days? Also, you could say, well, what's going to happen if you list it higher than what I showed you here? What do you think is going to happen? And first thing, it's going to become stale. You're not going to get too many offers on it, probably very little action.
Right.
You present the facts to them, I think they'll understand. I mean, I
and
tried
Ron,
to approach before.
and Ron, you know, I have a tremendous amount of respect, and Ron actually does a lot of training for us. So if you're in Florida or other areas, you know, we can go into your training. You've got a lot of traditional real estate in you in the approach that you have. And if you were just to think about it and say, hey, there's 3 strategies. You know, I'm going to share with you what they are. I'm going to show you with you how they perform, and you don't get attached, because every seller is going to have a number in mind when they come in. But when you show them the math and you show them that you can get more, and I know in my core that I could be leaving money on the table if I only get 1 offer on a listing that I'm marketing. And I know in my core that with good negotiation skills, which we all have, and multiple qualified buyers, I can optimize the execution. I can get the highest possible value, the highest net proceeds. I can do the best job for my client by having that competition. Okay. And it's about the strategies. It's about not having, you know, you're explaining things that make a lot of sense, Ron. But when I give them the strategy and the evidence, I never have to go into that detail. And I know it's hard to believe, but when I say, here's how the 3 segments perform, and I'm going to show you the chart one more time. And this happens all the time. 66% of original ask price. That's powerful and painful at the same time. Who would want to do that? Nobody. And these are the numbers. I didn't cook the books. They're the real numbers. I'll show you another one. Here's one in Palm Beach County, another one that's in the $10 million range. Okay, the ones that sell in under 30 days are selling for 13.46 million. The ones that are selling for over 90 days are selling for 10.3 or 10.5. That's a substantial difference on a lot of data. There's a lot of units in there that we put in there, right? We put, you know, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, right? We put a certain criteria. We were only looking at waterfront property. So all the basics were the same. There were 7 to 10 that sold in less than 30 days in that scenario. And there were probably 10 to 12 that sold in over 90 days. So it's not like an outlier here or there is going to make a difference. You're talking about $3 million difference. All right. If I'm listing your house, not only am I concerned about the commission, an extra $3 million commission on 3 million is really good, but I'm not gonna cost you $3 million, Ron, because I don't have the communication skills or the backbone to educate you on how this works. And at 300,000, a $13 million seller, the principles are always the same. I was actually up in with an agent working on Orlando area listing, and I wasn't even familiar with that MLS. Figured out how to download it in about 35 minutes with my education of how to do the download. I was able to do the analysis for our team member to present to a home seller in the Orlando market. So it's everywhere. All the MLSs, some of them are tricky to get the original list price, but usually the pathway to get that is through a download. You know, the one I did in Palm Beach Island, that took me probably 25 minutes to come up with that spreadsheet. And then with our team member that was competing for that listing, we actually went through all the active listings on the market. So we really, you know, we spent about an extra hour to prepare to go on that listing opportunity. But that was the inspiration for this conversation here. And, you know, I can tell you, and I'm not a better salesperson than any of you. It's just I follow the process. And the process is don't let the home seller think that you have a bias towards any one strategy. You're just there to educate them. When you educate them and you share the numbers with them, it sells itself because it's the right thing to do. If you underpriced a home, you know, in your market run, let's say it's a $700,000 home, you put it at 600. Even in a market that's a little bit softer, you'll get so many bids and people will go crazy to get that property. And they'll bid it up 95 to 99% of the time, well above where it would have been if you priced it at 650. Because you're gonna have more people bidding, you're gonna have a frenzy. And that's gonna do well for your client.
You
So
know,
anyway,
and that definitely is a good strategy. And I do try that most of the time, but we went on a listing appointment the other day and the seller said, we showed him the, you know, the comps and everything. And I says, here's the prices that are selling in your neighborhood. Which would you decide to pick? Which number would you like to pick? And she said, well, Keller Williams told me I can get 750 for it. My comps came in at I think 635 or 645. So Keller Williams was trying to buy the listing. And that's what happens to a lot of us. We go to a listing where they already saw 2 or 3 realtors already, and they kind of trying to buy the listing just to get the listing.
right, well,
That
I
makes
can
them
go,
look bad. I mean,
I
people just sit there.
I could go, you know, deep with that because there is, you know, if we do the right thing all the time, then we're never going to buy a listing. We're going to be honest about it and we're going to get the listing the right way. And I know there's that FOMO, right? Fear of missing out that will often cloud our judgment, or we'll say somebody else is misleading, that I have to maybe mislead them a little bit less. But that's really not a good strategy in my opinion. And you're starting out with friction. I don't care what Keller Williams told them. I'm going to give them an education. I'm going to show them how the stuff performs. And, you know, we're going to see if we want to work together. Plain and simple. Okay. And the first person that needs to be convinced is us, right? We need to do our homework. We need to look at it. You know, I have tons and tons of these that, yeah, let's see.
So Rob, I had that experience that Ron was just mentioning with someone that I went for the listing appointment with, and I told them their house was worth $1.2 million. And Weichert came in and said, "Oh, your house is worth $1.5 million," clearly because they buy listings, you know, just like Ron was saying. And I said, "Okay, well, you know, good luck to you." 6 months later, the house finally sold, and it sold for $1.2 million. And so I ran into the seller in the street and he said, "Hey, you know what, Robert? I guess you were right because we sold the house for $1.2 million after all." And I said to him very plainly, right to his face, "Yeah, but if you had gone out at $1.2 million, you probably would have gotten more because that would have been an action price to start with, not to end with."
So
And he
Robert,
just, yeah, he just kind of walked away from me, you know, and then he called me and said, "You're absolutely right. The next one's we're coming to you.
And you know, talking negative about, and Alex, I'll be with you in a second. So talking negative about, you know, competitors rarely, you know, positioned you to be the winner. But maybe asking questions saying to that person, hey, what was the seller's first name, Robert? You remember?
Um,
Let's just say it was Martin.
Stephanie,
Hey,
Stephanie
Steph.
was the wife, yeah.
So Stephanie, let me ask you, if you go on with a competitor at 1.5 and it doesn't, like, you ask the question and it doesn't sell right away, what's the strategy? Right? And then you show other properties that were in that way, that I'm telling you, is in my core, and that's why I love to go on appointments with everybody, is I know that it works, right? And I used to think, wow, I'm like the luckiest person because every time I go out with one of our associates, it always works out. And it always works out just because I do my homework. I have conviction and I have strategy. And strategy is not just in the strategy, hey, here's the three options, but strategy is in the way I communicate with people. Okay. So look, here's one 3204 Lakeview. I did this with one of our team members. 700 to 850 homes that sell in 15 days or less sell for 98.54%. Homes that sell in 16 to 60 days sell for a 5.7% discount. And homes that sell in 61 to 263 days sell for a 14.59% discount. If I'm sitting across the table from you, I'm giving you this evidence. It's really only a fool that picks this, right? And I have the conversation strategy to go about, you know, getting them to make the choice that's right for them. Okay. And, you know, if they say, I want to list it for, you know, 800 for the 750 house, you know, and I'm going to fight with them, I'm probably not going to win, and they're going to go to my competitor, and then I'm going to have one of these sad stories like Rob Garver had, where, you know what, they went with the competition and ultimately sold for less. You know, you probably cost them how much money, Robert?
6
Do you think
months.
they lost? No, I'm asking Robert Garver. How much money do you think that they lost by taking 6 months to sell it?
A lot of money.
Do you think it was like, you think you could have got them 100 grand more?
Oh, yeah,
Like for
absolutely.
me, for me, you know, having somebody lose 100,000 that I have an opportunity to serve is really powerful. Like I will find a way to get them to make the right choice. And, you know, I don't go at the competition and say they're buying the listing because I just sound like a pathetic defensive person. You know, I'd ask questions like, hey, you know, if you wanted to overprice it, you know, do you have a calculator on your phone? You know, Robert Garber, you have a calculator in your phone there?
Yeah,
Okay, so I'd have him do this. Robert, in Boonton or Mountain Lakes where we're at, you know, homes that are priced right, sell for, take 14.59 and subtract 1.46 from that. What number does that give you?
13.13.
13.13. So divide that by 100
Okay.
and multiply that by 1.2 million. What does that give you?
157,560.
So Robert, that's what the market punishes people who start their pricing their home too high. So I just wanted you to make sure that you're aware of the risk. And in reality, that person that listed at 1.5 or 1.6 that sold it at the 1.2 that you recommended probably lost 100 to $157,000. I believe that. So I want to find a more powerful way. And you know what? I can put that on the spreadsheet, folks, and I can say, here's the cost of mispricing your home. But having the home seller calculate it like I just did, powerful. It's powerful. So does anybody want to grow your business? Anybody want to like grow like 50%? All right. Does anybody like stuff that's free? Who likes free stuff? I like free stuff. So Alex, we have a, I'm gonna do my Canadian impression. Hey, Alex,
Yay.
we have a, we have a, uh, Diamond team member that has, made, Pinnacle several times. And he is looking to expand his business and to get into the Florida market. Extremely talented Remax individual. He's going to share a program that we're launching with the group, and it is a free program to help you grow your business. I'm going to give it to you for 2 to 3 minutes max, Alex.
Good. That's all I need. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. It's good to hear the dialogue between Ron and Robert and how they approach the pricing strategy. That's awesome. And for those that are showing their picture on the camera today, that we could see their faces, extra points for you. We really appreciate it. If I can get everybody to go in the chat, I actually just dropped the link in there, and I'll drop it in there again. But for those that are looking to maybe get closer to platinum, I want you to put the number 1 in the chat. If you could do that for me right now, I would really appreciate it. Just want to make sure everyone's engaged and excited. You know,
And for those,
Can
Alex, for those
share the
who
levels?
are,
'Cause I don't know the levels.
yeah, for those who are new, Glenn, you stole my thunder. For those of you who are new to Remax or who don't pay attention to the levels, Remax has several levels. Executive is 50,000, 100% club's 100. Then we jump to platinum, which is 250,000 GCI.
Yeah.
If you're platinum, I encourage you to go to chairman, which is 500. Next level is titanium, which is 750. Then diamond is 1 million GCI, and pinnacle, I believe, is the highest now, right?
2 million GCI.
2 million GCI. So those are the levels. It gives you identity and something to strive for. So glad I gave you more than you asked for, but I hope that helped.
Very helpful.
No, that's perfect. So for those that are looking to get to the 250, maybe you're at 50, you'd like to get to 100, or you're at 100, you'd like to get to 250. This program is for you. We're starting it off in January, and we're not necessarily going to have it available for everybody. We're looking for certain types of individuals that put this career first in their life, as far as when it comes to business and providing. So we're looking for people that are excited, that would like to grow. And of course, a big part of it is showing up and doing the work and being teachable. It's a 7-week program we're going to be putting on. It's going to be based online. We do encourage some of these squads, that they're called, to get together in person in a boardroom if that's possible. But the idea is that we're going to learn to mastermind. We're going to be doing some, role playing, prospecting strategies, and we're going to really build on, our skill set on how are we going to tackle the 2025 year and become more productive. What I'm wanting to just ask you guys is, how much would an extra $100,000 do for your life? What would that do for your families? When I started off in a program similar to this, when I was in the business at 21 years old, it really did propel my business. I didn't just do it once. I've actually done it about 5 times. And it was actually inspired through an old school program called Floyd Wickman Sweat Hogs. And for those that have been in the business long enough, you'll know what that is. It's essentially a type of training that is about getting to work. It's not just, hearing what I'm saying, giving you tons of ideas, and then hopefully you implement 1 or 2 ideas. This is a lot more involved, and it's going to be really, really great for the culture of the offices, because we're going to ask a select group of people to be squad leaders, and we're going to involve the management to help inspire. We will be having some prizes and some giveaways, and Rob and I are going to go through that tomorrow. But we're opening this up to the brokerage, and we would love your participation. In the chat below, you're going to see a link of a questionnaire. I would love for you to fill that out completely, please. It'll help us get to know you, get to know your goals, and it'll help me see if this is going to be the right fit for us. Rob and I were going back and forth with this idea, and we realized that, you know, many people are not going to jump onto this opportunity, and that's okay. We're looking for people that we can really invest in and give that education to, that's going to really take it to heart and put it into action. So
Alex, what did it cost you to do this?
so I did it about 17 years ago, and like one of the things that I will say is that when I surrounded myself with people that were doing business and seeing their habits and watching them through role playing and being able to like learn directly with them, it just took my business to the next level. At that time, it was about $1,200 for the program, and I'm sure if you were to charge it in today's inflated world, it'd probably be $2,000 to $3,000 for sure.
Yeah, probably 5,000 with the last 4 years.
Right.
But anyway, the commitment is high, the cost is low.
That's right.
And
we do have a penalty, right? Are we gonna talk about the penalty?
well, we're gonna have prizes, and there will be a failure expense, not a sign up expense or a success expense. And I don't want to collect any failure expense, but without that, we feel we don't have any leverage to get people to take action and get the result we need. So
Each squad will be working together towards a common goal, and of course the fee that we're talking about is actually going to go into the prize pot for all the other teams that stick with the program. So this is not a Remax Select Group get rich idea. This is a reward the good, solid agents that put this to practice. So I'm pretty excited about it. And if you have any questions, of course, fill out the form, and either myself or one of the managers will be in touch with you guys.
well, I genuinely want to help, you know, everybody that wants to be helped grow their business and not dig into your pocket, but also have leverage so that you do it.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's my commitment. And Sandy, yes, I'll share the Excel spreadsheet. As a matter of fact, the Excel sheet is probably less useful if you have, tell you what, if you have a listing coming up, or if you have a listing that's sitting on the market and you want to reposition it, please text me, you know, give me a day. It'll take us 15 to 20 minutes to do that analysis. It won't take us any more. I hope that it will be impactful for you and help your clients. So text me directly if you don't have my number to reach me. Reach out to your manager and set up a meeting. I am so passionate about helping you and helping sellers not give up 157,000 like Robert Garber's seller gave up, in my belief. Like I've not seen even in rising markets, you know, if the market's improving, the penalty for mispricing may be offset slightly by the improving market, but you're still losing. Okay. And I don't think any of us are in a substantially rising market that's going to offset bad decisions on pricing. So, Alex, I'm hoping we get a bunch of people on here. I don't know, is there anybody that took Sweat Hogs before that wants to,
Christy.
Sandy, I can help you with the buyer as well. The reverse process works for buyers as well. Anybody, Sweat Hogs, alumni that wants to share? I think I saw somebody say, that they were Sweat Hog.
Yes, and it was a great program. I did a long time ago, but it really worked. And ramp worked too. So I'm excited.
Fantastic. Any other last, and if you did Sweat Hogs and it didn't work, say it, because I'm not here just to plug, but I believe that, you know, being around people, building up that competitive position? Because we're all competitive at our core.
Rob,
Yes.
I have to say in my management life, I've done Sweat Hogs 3 times with my associates, and it has always been successful. And for me, being in management and running an office, it was extremely exciting to see how the agents, synergized, worked together, and competed. I think
Yep.
it was a very friendly competition. It builds energy. And, we all need a little accountability, Rob. We always do because we get so easily distracted. The closing, the inspection, the this, the that. Sweat
Uh,
Hogs actually is an exercise not only in getting listings but it's also an exercise in better planning of your time. So I think it's a fabulous program. Very
Fantastic.
excited about this.
So if there's a few things in the chat with confusion about registering, we will send out a text link and an email. I know you get lots of texts and emails, but you could register through there. Remember, it's going to start the beginning of next year, so don't freak out if you don't sign up immediately, and we'll talk about it a couple more times on these masterminds. And trust me, it's a lot of extra work for Alex and I, but I do this because I care, and I want to have that. I want to get that start, that lift for this upcoming year that we all deserve, because we've been through a changing market, a lot of missed expectations. Like, I was hoping that we'd be here with 5.5% interest rates, but they're not here. But I am not dissuaded one bit. Okay, I'm not letting the stock market, the bond market, the interest rate market, the real estate market have any input or any impact on our success as a group. So
I think they're giving out adjustable rate mortgages now. Going back
it
to
doesn't,
that.
and Ron, that doesn't even matter. Like, I'm telling you, like, anybody that I'm associated with through any of you, if they want to buy a house, they're buying a house. They're not waiting on the sidelines because of interest rates or inventory or anything. If we educate them, taking the fear out of it and demystifying the process will create a lot more buyers, and it will help us to be more abundant, more successful. If you have an extra $100,000, think about what you're going to do. Pay down any debt you have, put it away for retirement, buy some real estate with passive income. Okay, this is something that we all can do. Okay. And I put myself out there. I will this week I'm going to put together a video. So I don't know that I can do it all the time, but this week I'll be in New Jersey the entire week. I'll be available. If you have any upcoming listings, I'll do a Zoom with you. We'll crank this out, and you will be very I think you and your sellers will be very glad that you had this analysis. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit more about mindset. Okay. And the impact of, our communication, our mindset. I am a horrible salesperson if I don't believe in what I'm doing. I couldn't sell a thing that I don't believe in. And maybe a lot of you are in that same boat. And the only reason why we take overpriced listings, or we might sacrifice a listing, is 99.9% not our competence, not our understanding of the market, but maybe it's our communication strategy, right? Because great agents don't necessarily mean that we're great communicators. Okay, they're two completely different skills. Is there anybody that maybe would consider themselves not to be a great public speaker? Anybody? I don't think I am. But if you're not a great public speaker, but if you know what you're talking about, you can talk to anybody in that position. If you're on like to Alex said, if you put your camera on, this is a lot more powerful. Anybody like feel super comfortable when it's like somebody looking to sell in your backyard where you know all the comps, you know all the houses, you've been in all of them, you're like, I got this. This is easy. I can talk to 100 people about this community. I want to give you that power, that strength, that confidence to have those conversations in that mindset all the time. Okay. I don't know anything about real estate on Palm Beach Island. Really don't. But I exported the numbers. I did my homework. I worked with an agent that had knowledge about it. And I really feel like I put them in the best possible position to capture that listing at a price that will sell. And, you know, we had this conversation about, you know, how honest do we need to be with the person about getting the house ready? Because, you know, they wanted to fix some things and not others. And I told our associate that, look at, you know, don't cut corners on it, because if it doesn't move, you're really going to get penalized significantly. So let's take a little bit more time. Let's get it right to go on the market so that we hit maximize the price that seller gets. And a lot of times we feel like Robert Garver did, where if we tell them the truth, that we might sacrifice them to somebody who's telling them a lie. And this mindset will get us over that hurdle, right? Because if they see what happens, and I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, but I said, it's really amazing how this experience worked out and your seller got 6 figures more than they were looking for, more than they ever thought they would get. I was like, we need to build out a case study. So when you go on your appointment, you can share that. So here's something that closed 2 months ago. Here's a seller that wanted to come in at 800. We put in at 750 and they got 850. Okay, is that not a really relatable, understandable story? And if it's recent and relevant, that's something that we should be talking about. Right? And we can even borrow our colleagues. You know, if there's somebody else in your office that has a great story, you could say, hey, you know, this is what we've done at Remax Select Group. You know, we took this property in and we got the homeowner, you know, 55,000 more than they had hoped for, and 100,000 more than we listed it for. Social proof. Okay, my confidence level is 110%. My humility level is 112%.
I think that's everything, Rob. When you have that confidence, I'll give you an unrelated story. My grandson, well, I've told you, you know, he's an expert in antiquities. He had a piece that he knew was extremely valuable, but when he introduced it to the auction, he introduced it at a very low flat price, like $500. It sold for 45,000. And there were the excitement and the activity on that particular item was just outrageous. He always does that. Anything he's selling, of course, he has a reserve, I got to be honest. But anything he's selling, he always prices it at a very, very attractive, less than value price. And he's always extremely successful.
So, and Colleen, you want to know an interesting thing? While you were talking, I was just looking through everybody who has their face on camera, and everybody I know is either the first year in the business doing well, or 100% club to Pinnacle, which is really interesting. Just saying.
Well,
So
it shows people that have a commitment to their business.
yeah, I don't know what that really means, but I think you get more out of it when you're on camera and participating. It almost feels like you're right here. And you know, mindset, communication strategy, you know, the knowledge that's on this call is amazing. The experience that's on this call is amazing. um, you know, teaching you a few minor variations to get a better outcome, that's the little asterisk I want on your success is, hey, Rob kept preaching the same thing over and over and over again because it works. I'm just, I just wish I could, dump what experience I have in my head so that you can, have the confidence to go to somebody and say, hey, can you calculate this with your phone? Can you do that? And, Beth, that's the cost, that's the penalty for overpricing. So if in this particular market, if that's the strategy you use, you risk paying a 6+ figure penalty. Right. And I don't think I'm exaggerating. I'm not puffing. I'm not doing anything. Like, you get 2 or 3 people bidding against each other. That's where the magic happens. If you have 0 or 1 buyers, you're at the mercy of the market every single time. Okay. And the bridge to get from buying a listing or negotiating them to a more reasonable but not optimal price, that bridge is all about communication and preparation. It's about conversation, not presentation. It's about communication and competence and confidence. Right? If you don't know what you're talking about, you'll get stuck. You can't fake it till you make it when you're going on listings. We just have so many people that have so much tremendous competence, perhaps confidence as well, but they don't have the decoder ring to communicate the right way to get the outcome that's going to serve the client. And when the client's served, it's ultimately going to help us. Right? If you help clients, you'll get more business. It's inevitable. It's a universal law like gravity. You never throw something up and it goes up forever. It comes back down. When you help people, you give them more than they expect, you're going to get more in return. And the other thing, I was talking to hopefully a new team member of ours, was about if I was sitting across the table from you as a buyer, and working with you as a buyer's agent or as a listing agent, my goal is not to sell your house, or to get you a property to move into. My goal is to build a relationship where I exceed your expectation and you want to go out of your way to introduce me to other people that you know and care about to get the same level of service. Right? So I could spend, 40% on Zillow leads. I can spend tens of thousands of dollars marketing. But if I do a job that exceeds the expectation, you will go out of your way to introduce me to people, because the people you know and care about, you're proud to introduce them to somebody who really knows what they're doing and gets the job done. And we've all had times when we've gone out of our way to refer somebody that, wow, this person, it was amazing what they did for me, right? I got the best deal on buying a car here. There was a problem and the service was impeccable, right? This physician, was amazing. This whatever professional, this accountant saved me, $40,000. You're going to tell the world, right? And I want to be that. I want to be that individual. I want to be that company that delivers that next level service that people go out of their way to tell us about, because we're always doing the right thing and we're getting them a extraordinary result. And it doesn't take that much more time to get that extraordinary result. I'm going to leave you with this thought. Prospecting and communicating with, our clients, whether they're actively looking or we did business with them in the past, our sphere and whatever other technique we have is very important. We can't completely eliminate that. But wouldn't it be better to spend an extra 5 hours, giving wow service to your existing clients where they go out of their way to refer you as opposed to making 5 extra hours of calling? Think about that. So Alex, you had a question?
No, just a comment. For those that are on Facebook, make sure you guys join our Facebook group and share your opportunities, share your listings, be engaged in that group. I see a few agents that really capitalize off of posting in that group, so do that. I also have a video a little bit about me and this program. So if you want to potentially get together, have a coffee or a phone call just to ask me a few questions about the program, be happy to do that. So that's my final thoughts.
Facebook page name, Alex?
It's the Remax Florida group page. I could drop it in this chat if that helps.
Okay, and then we'll have communications going out. So it's beginning of the year.
Yeah,
We're gonna get you started off with a great year.
3-hour commitment a week.
You're gonna
Just
be
3 hours.
You're gonna be among other like-minded people who are willing to make that commitment to grow and share and be competitive as hell. Okay,
And fun. It's fun.
fun.
It is fun. It is a lot of fun for sure.
It's work, it's fun, it's competitive, it's good. So look, there's no other broker who's putting themselves out there to say, you got a listing, you got a price adjustment, I'll do this work for you the first time, I'll show you how to do it. I really want to change your life. I want to change your strategy. I want to give you that next level of information that nobody else has ever talked about. Alex, have you ever seen anybody do that type of analysis?
No, I actually do a lot of it myself, but I've never seen a manager or an owner do that before.
Break it down, and it doesn't take that much time, and it always selling quicker, having more competition always yields you a higher price. So you can study it yourself. You probably need to study it, but know that I've studied it for a long time, and it truly works. So I wish you all a fantastic weekend. I thank you for your time and see you next Friday. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye,
Rob.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rob. This was
Have a great
excellent.
weekend.
Bye.